aggressive doesn't mean that the gene is expressed that way.
Okay, so here's another.
So how does, but we are not scientists, so.
here's, yeah, I mean, it's a great question, because here's another thing we don't fully understand. So my wife and I have been reading this book called Difference, just came out by a friend of mine, Franz Ball. It's about, he's a primatologist, it's about sexuality, about sex. Well, he argues pretty convincingly, and if you talk to anybody, they know what sex they are. Not everybody, 95% of people, even when they're 5 years old, if you ask them certain questions, they may look like a boy, but they can tell you I'm in the wrong body. That's gotta be genetic. Because DeWall makes a great argument. If anything, if you have a boy that's acting like a girl, if anything, the environment is usually saying, no, you're a boy. The environment, but no, they know. So that's gotta be genetic. So there must be some things that are just actually hardwired, but not nearly as many as we thought, right? So again, it's tricky. So where does it become changeable, where does it become not? So things like aggression, or the flip side, say empathy, compassion, we're actually studying now with this knowledge. So you can think about it, you can think about experiments. So all mammals show empathy, except for cats.
Bias.
That's true. I mean, when you do experiments, all mammals show empathy. So a mouse, if a mouse has spent any time at all with another mouse, doesn't have to be a member of his family, and then watches that one of those mice get exposed to, say, a shock or a pain, he actually feels the shock or the pain in the same way, the same violent dread. So you can start to think about experiments now. How do we parse out your question? How much of it is genetics, that is unchangeable, versus epigenetic, right? You could have mice, a bunch of mice become more aggressive by getting with other mean mice, and you could select for certain genes, blah, blah, blah. You could have other mice who you select for certain genes, but they never see other mice. You know, you could start to pull apart how much of this is for sure, and how much of it is environmental. My guess is that most and much of it is environmental, and not in the genes. So these aggressive dogs, well, we don't have to talk to Scott, but super aggressive dogs, you could probably make them mostly not super aggressive anymore.
Yes.
But they still might be more aggressive on average than these other dogs. As a species.
We're running into this is why you need to get a purebred, so you can predict behaviors based on a herding breed. Where if you're going to get a German Shepherd, you know you're going to get a protection breed. If you're going to get a Anatolian Shepherd, you're going to get the
golden retriever that doesn't bite.
The golden retriever, the family dog type stuff too.
It gets tricky, right? So let's say I have the genes for being addicted to nicotine. What if I never smoke? There's no way I'm ever going to get addicted to nicotine.
But we all have the genes to be addicted. We all have an endogenous opioid system and
but
dopamine.
Let's say that I have special versions, and we know that some are out there.
Yes.
Special versions of that gene that I have that you don't. And it makes me more likely to become addicted or X, Y, or Z, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if I never smoke, there's no way I'm gonna become addicted. It could be if you never put an animal who's bred to be vicious in a situation where he's ever worried about anything. Maybe he'll never be vicious, right?
So the
see what I'm
gene
saying?
expression is different.
Gene expression would be different.
Exactly.
But also, like you asked, it's always all of the above.
Exactly.
It's the gene, it's the environment, how much of which is kind of what we're trying to sort out here.
But now you are a scientist, okay? So you know how it works. The average dog trainer that says it's genetics would not know that if it is genetics.
Well, Scott and I were talking about this last night because that's his business, and
Because I can't shut up.
you know,
Oh no, come on.
and you know, it's complicated for a number of reasons, not always having to do with knowledge. It also often has to do with, I was telling Scott, I think it's a lot of the scientists' fault, because we need to do better at getting the message across. And then, you know, you have the behavior of the day, or the cool thing of the day, or oxytocin gets really popular because it just got discovered. And so people get carried away with that. So now you're getting into more cultural things that have to do with how we use that knowledge, right? And and it's so nuanced and complicated, that doesn't help. That's
Yeah.
Nuance and complication, people don't wanna know, they wanna know, how can I get my dog to stop biting
Yes.
me or something, right? Yes, ma'am?
I'm really curious, this is a topic that's extremely close to my heart. Is the ideas of like physics with like spooky action